Welcome back. Another Monday night with the Outdoors Crew. Tonight we got Brad from the Wildgame Pursuit. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Brad's along with our co-host John. He's over here, and Stanley. Links are in the description. How's it going, guys?
What's up, man? Good. Happy Monday.
Monday indeed.
Happy Monday. Hasn't been that bad of Monday for me. Just a normal run-of-the-mill Monday. No, nothing terrible, nothing awesome. Just steady Monday.
Pretty same here. It's been busy and busier than I like it because I don't like it busy at all. But I can't really complain.
Can't blame you for that.
Yeah, busy Monday, but we had something to look forward to tonight. Our guest. What's going on, Brad? How are you doing?
Doing really good. Glad to be on with you guys. Watched a lot of episodes. Was excited for this. Gave me something to look forward to on a Monday.
Yeah, same here. I've been excited about that. It took too long to get you on.
Yeah, I agree. So is this a Grill Brad episode, or is it just we're just gonna chat? And
we definitely have to do a Q&A session. I don't care when we do it, but we got to have a Q&A session.
Absolutely. Grant, do you want to have everybody just all of us say how our weekend was and then go straight into it, or how you want to do it?
Yeah, either way, we can do that. We can say what we did real quick. Brad said he's in for the whole hour, so.
Okay.
I was on call. I took last week. This is the first time since I've been duck hunting in almost 25 years that duck season, waterfowl season did not come in on Thanksgiving Day. They voted last summer about changing the dates. So now our waterfowl season comes in the Saturday after Thanksgiving for the next 5 years at least. So I went ahead and took call. So I'm not on call this week. We got a permit for Wednesday, so going to be doing some duck hunting. Good to see you, David Martin. Godspeed, Super Beast. What's up? The Rod Father, Ben. Good to see you. Hooked up in Backlash. What about you, Stanley? I heard you were in John's neck of the wood for the weekend.
Yeah, I'd rather not talk about it. I got skunked, and I got it. We talk about it a lot. I got skunked in a place that everybody gets skunked at. So, this isn't really like a test of my mettle or anything, but at the same time, it kind of is. I'm not going to have a video on it, but I might have one coming up in the future. We'll see. Had fun more than anything. Had a good time with the family. The first time I've had an opportunity to spend like a holiday with my entire family, like both my brothers. Thanks to Luke moving down. You'll be seeing him now in the future now that he's down here. But it's the first time we've had a holiday, all the family like that in years. So that was nice.
Very cool. Very cool. We had a good Thanksgiving. Nothing crazy. So my daughter is a head athletic trainer at one of the local high schools, and their football team they're 13-0 now, or 12-0, 13-0. They're killing it. They're in the playoffs. So we went we were right near you actually, Stanley, on Saturday night. We were at Friday night. We were at a football game right there in New Braunfels. They played at Canyon High School's.
Oh, yeah, you were right. You're 10 minutes from me.
They beat Austin Bowie, which is a really good team. The Austin teams are all good. 59-23, I think it was. I mean, they've just been killing people. So now one of the other Austin teams, Travis Westlake, not Westlake. One of those Austin. There's two Austin really good teams that knock people out all the time, and that's their next matchup. So we don't get to go to that one. It's up in Dripping Springs, but we're really crossing our fingers and hoping they win that one because this is the furthest they've gotten, right, in the playoffs ever. So it's pretty cool to see. And my daughter, that's her job. She's there all the time. 7 in the morning till she got home at midnight Friday, and that's but she loves it, and so I love seeing that. You love to see your kids doing something they love and being successful. So, but that was it. That was our weekend pretty much, and watched some football. Watched my Broncos finally get a good win, and not much more other than that. So, what about you, Brad?
Well, I started off the weekend the same way us Michiganders have the last 5 or 6 years now, watching the Lions lose on Thanksgiving. And then from there, I got out hunting. I actually seen a nice shooter buck Thanksgiving Day, but trying to get the GoPros and everything on, it actually cost me from not getting a shot off. So, but that's one of those things that you want the footage. You gotta make sure your cameras are rolling, and it cost me a nice buck this weekend. It was probably one of the first ones I've seen in Michigan this year. That was kind of rough. And then my brother, he actually came in. He's active Army, stationed out in Washington, D.C. He came home for the weekend, and so he wanted to get some venison, hoping to take it back with him. And I'd been seeing a lot of does and took him out. We probably went 3 or 4 sits that we got him out there, and we didn't even see a deer in all the sits I sat with him. So,
man,
that's how hunting goes, though. So,
yeah.
But overall, it was a good weekend. Had a lot of good food and good Thanksgiving.
How about that Michigan-Ohio State game?
Oh, that was the good part of the weekend.
That was really good. That was awesome.
It was a good game.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, finally.
Yeah.
I've been saying about that coach the whole time, Harbaugh. I'm like, you're not successful in Michigan until you beat Ohio State, and he never has. And finally, he whooped them. So that was good.
Yeah, that definitely was another highlight of the weekend too that I completely I forgot about. So
yeah. So does the grilling start now?
That's it. Might as well.
Might as
Now,
well.
is that your main hunting passion, the deer hunting?
I've done a lot of everything now. I love turkey hunting in the spring. That's a blast to be able to hear the turkeys, and locate them. And don't get me wrong, I've deer hunted my entire life, but anything that you can make a game plan and not just have to wait in a tree stand and hope the deer comes by you, to be able to come up with a plan and be able to make a move at them or stay back or anything like that. So I love turkey hunting. A lot of people don't do it. But anybody I've got to go with me, they're hooked. We actually did a turkey hunt giveaway earlier this year on our channel, and had a guy who won it. He had never been turkey hunting and went out and got him his first turkey. So he had a great time. I guarantee you next spring he'll be out turkey hunting himself. So that was cool.
That is cool. That's one I want to try. My brother did some turkey hunting many years ago. I just never tried it, and I still want to try it. But I'm getting along in the years. I got to be able to walk a little bit, so get this back straight. And get out.
Yep. Yeah, other than that, I've gone up bear hunting up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I shot a bear up there.
I'm so envious of that.
That was a blast.
And that's by permit, right?
Yep. You have to draw. Depending on the unit, it takes a different amount of points to draw a tag. For first season up in the area I hunt up in the UP, it's roughly, now it's actually getting a little more because I think more people are doing it. So now it's roughly around 7 or 8 points years it takes to draw first season. You can get third season on roughly 4, I believe, but it's obviously, as in anything, the later you wait, the more pressured they are, and it can be tougher to get. So right now I'm waiting to draw a first season tag. I think I'm at like 5 or 6 points again. So a couple more years I'll be back up there hunting again. So
cool. That's very cool. Now, do you just go do it on your own, or do you get a guide to help you out?
Well, actually, my grandparents have a cabin up in the Upper Peninsula, so they only own 40 acres, but the Upper Peninsula is full of public land. So pretty much we go up to my grandparents' cabin, and we have already a bunch of bait locations on public that if anybody draws a tag, you kind of just go out there, and the logs and stumps are kind of already sitting there, and you dig the hole out a little bit and dump the bear bait in there and cover them up, and just usually I think you can start baiting them a month before season starts. So nice. You'll go up there and bait roughly 3 bait sites, and once season rolls around, you just hope that they're still hitting the baits and go try to hunt the one that's being hit the best.
Nice. That's freaking cool.
I got a question about that. So you've got family, you got friends up in that area, you've got a solid setup and everything that you need. As somebody who visits Michigan, how do I get in on your family and make friends to get invited on?
It's definitely because even I'll tell you this too. So actually, we have our bait sites up there, but what would honestly happen a lot of the time was I'm roughly 5.5 hours from there. So what would happen is you draw a tag. It's a lot of money because you draw a tag, so you'd have to buy all your bait, and then you would every Friday night you got out of work, you'd pretty much jump in the truck, drive 5.5 hours up there. You'd get up there late at night on a Friday night. You'd get to the cabin, fall asleep. You'd wake up Saturday morning. You'd run out, check your baits, rebait all the bait sites. And usually the bait would be gone because it's been out there from Sunday through Friday now. But you'd bait them all back up. You'd come back to the cabin, hang out for a couple hours, eat dinner, go to bed, wake up Sunday morning. You would run back out, rebait the baits if they were hit again, stock them right up nice and good for the week, and drive on back to southern Michigan where I live, and do it all over again for a month. So, it's a lot of work and a lot of driving. Actually, though, I just got a family member though that bought a little motel up there close to the cabin. So the last couple of years, I haven't been up there hunting since he did it, but anybody who drew a tag could pay him, for his time and his money driving out there to bait it. So that saves a lot of work.
Ooh, that's nice setup. Got to thank Farmall.
Cheers, Farmall. Appreciate you. Good to see you, Farmall. Mark J. Larson, Monica, Freezer Bound. Appreciate you. So how many different states have you hunted? You start this year if you want.
Just this year, I went down to Kentucky. I did a velvet hunt because their season started September 4th. So I actually hunted with an outfitter. Usually I don't do that. Usually it's all public land hunting that I do.
Damn.
Monica.
So I usually just do a lot of public land hunting. That was one of my first outfitter hunts, and I hunted there for 3 days hoping to shoot a velvet buck, and only ended up seeing a velvet spike. So didn't end up getting anything in Kentucky, and then I ended up going out to South Dakota this year on an archery spot and stalk hunt, and that was an absolute blast. I'm hoping to get back out there next fall. I ended up shooting a mule deer forkhorn, big forkhorn though, good one, and I was happy with it with my bow. And from there, I came back and hunted Michigan pretty hard, and then just earlier this month during the rut, I went down and hunted Ohio again on public land, and that was a lot of fun. I think we just missed the main rut though. We saw a lot of little bucks chasing, but none of the big bucks were chasing. And then two of my guys, Derek and Travis, they were coming down that following week to film and hunt on public land in Ohio, and they both tagged out with a couple nice bucks that they got footage of. So we'll be getting those hunts on the channel coming up. So
Nice.
Very nice.
Mark.
Man, you're busy hunting. Much fishing?
Appreciate you, Mark.
I used to do a lot more fishing, honestly, and I used to do a lot of fishing. I did a lot of pike fishing and stuff on the inland lakes here, pike and walleye, but I've commented quite a few videos there when Steve was in the video about how he's got the good fishing over on the east side of Michigan, over there in Saginaw Bay and stuff. That's some good fishing over there. We don't have that as much. We got a few places that you can get some decent walleye on the west side of the state, but nothing near the fishery they have over there.
But you got more. I see more people over there fishing salmon and lake trout and stuff like that, right?
Yep. A lot of guys A lot of guys go out on Lake Michigan and catch some coho and salmon and big stuff like that. Plus our rivers. We have a lot of rivers that come off that right now the salmon are running pretty good. So they've been catching a lot of good salmon and stuff in the rivers and doing really good with that. They really
so bad. Bucket list of things to do. I want to get into salmon so bad. You not hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just wonky.
Real bad.
All right, I'm gonna back out. I'll come right back in.
Cheers, Stanley.
Cheers, Stanley. Oh man. All right. So Wildgame Pursuit. Okay, so that's the YouTube channel.
Yep.
I don't know who's all involved, but it's more than just you. What's the deal with the whole Wildgame Pursuit?
Well, I actually started this. It'd be just over about a year and a half now, coming up on a year and a half ago. I started it. I had always had a high drive for wanting to film my hunts and adventures out in the, hunting and fishing and everything involved, because it's not just hunting. But so I got with my brother and a buddy and a couple guys that I knew that, might have the financial, because you need to get the equipment first,
Right.
As much as a lot of people want to go out and film stuff, you need to have decent equipment to do it, GoPros and the main cameras. And especially for deer hunt, there's a lot of stuff involved because you got your tree arm up in the tree and everything. So plus you got to have the drive to actually want to get the cameras out and use them. That's the toughest part, is making sure it's on camera. So I reached out to a couple people and looked at what names weren't used, because the hunting industry has a lot of good names that you're sitting there thinking of a name that's, and you're like, oh, that's a good name. And you look and somebody already has it. So we finally found the Wildgame Pursuit. We liked it and came up with a logo, and definitely wanted the flag involved. And because me and my brother and stuff both served in the military, and so we definitely wanted the flag involved and got a buck on there and stuff. And so we started it out and slowly found a couple more members that wanted to join and do what we were doing. And so at the start, I was doing all our editing and getting all the footage uploaded. And over the last 6 months or so, we've had a couple other team members that were interested in doing some of the editing process. So I've been helping them through any questions they had and letting them start working on some of their own footage when they get it in. So there's a few of our videos that I actually didn't edit. They did. So, but
that's the most work. So that's good. That
it is.
Helping you with
it's a lot of work. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say we did a little scouting on you today, so that I had a little bit better, little newer idea of what it is that you did, and something that I never took into account, having seen your stuff prior, was the editing. It kind of like when I'd seen your videos in the past, it was one of those things that was like I never really paid attention to the editing. And that's kind of like the mark of a good editor is when that's not the thing that you realize.
You don't know.
And watching that today, I was like, oh man, like I never noticed that. But yeah, your editing is solid for sure. I'm curious what your camera setup is and what do you use? Like I saw in your turkey video, I believe that's your most recent, but you had what was that, a DSLR? Was it a GoPro that you got on a tripod? Is that the only, you had multiple shots, multiple angles. You using a phone? Have you got multiple GoPros? What do you use?
Yep, that was actually one of my guys, Bowman. He got that turkey in the spring, and he's actually running basically the same setup I am, though. He had his camera with a Canon G50. Was what he was running on the tripod, Canon G50. It's a really good camera. It's got 20 times zoom, really clear, shoots 4K. And then got the Vera zoom, the toggle zoom in and zoom out. That definitely helps with self filming like he was doing in that hunt. And then he had a couple GoPro mounts set up inside the blind pointing back at him, which that's one of the main things I've stressed to our guys is for good footage is making sure that have multiple angles. It's definitely tough to keep people's attention watching a video. That was one of the first things I learned actually when I got into this was a guy reached out to me and told me, he said, "Hey, I'm just going to let you know." He said, one of the biggest things is he said, adults are just like kids. He's like, you want to make your YouTube videos like a cartoon. He said, when you watch a cartoon, he said that is always changing almost every 3 or 4 seconds. You know, it's changing angles, changing pictures because it keeps a kid's attention. And it's the same way on YouTube. He said, if you're just showing one view the entire time, he's like, so many guys will just back off your video because they lose interest in it. And I thought of it and I'm like, yeah, I honestly do the same thing when I'm watching a video. I do back out of a lot of videos because I get bored. So that's one of the main things I've been stressing is trying to keep different angles, you know, as much as you can show different stuff, it keeps people's attention a lot better. So
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's wise information.
All right. So you're going on a hunt with somebody. Do you draw straws or what? How do you decide who's going to be the camera person and who gets to be the shooter in the video?
Rochambeau.
It's actually funny that the guys I just told you, Derek and Travis, that went down to Ohio after me, they were taking turns filming in the tree, and it was funny because I was just editing some of their footage, and I was watching. They took some footage at the campground, deciding who was going to hunt first, and they actually flipped a toucan. Heads, one side was heads, one side was tails, and they're all right heads, and they're all joking around. It was pretty funny, but yeah, for the most part, that's honestly been the toughest thing, and one of the debates of our group is the quantity over, you know, you either get quantity or you get quality, and that's the toughest thing right now. Is we're not right now. I think we're at like 8 or 9 team members on the team. But we don't all we have a couple team members. We have one in Wisconsin, one in Minnesota. So, and then the rest of us in Michigan. So that's the toughest thing is, do you want more hunts in the tree trying to get footage, you know, have 2 guys in a tree stand at separate spots, both with cameras, or do you want to take actually have a cameraman in your tree where you're going to get a lot better footage because you're not trying to self-film. It's a lot easier. So that's been one of the toughest debates we've been having is on a lot of trips we've gone on, like my South Dakota trip, for the first couple days we were taking turns filming. On every chance we had, we would switch. If you got a stalk within 100 yards of a deer and you didn't get it, we'd switch, and so on. And then the last couple days of the trip, though, when it was down to the wire on a week-long trip and we hadn't filled the tag, we both split up and started doing our own hunts, and we both actually ended up tagging out in South Dakota.
Well, that's good. At least you got them.
Yep.
So, speaking of filming and stuff, I'm gonna have to change hats real quick. I used got me a new hat today for the.
Yeah.
I think that'll work pretty good for that 360 camera. See over the head.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to using that.
I went the longest time where I was just doing it with the phone, and I would have it on a tripod. And I always wanted, my focus was I wanted that shot of the third person perspective. I wanted to be in the shot. And that wasn't something that when I started, everybody had GoPros attached to their chest and their hats. You never saw the person that was fishing. Having done that now, I'm kind of reverting back into that where it's like, okay, I've got the tripod thing, but I am missing out on an element of the action because, you know, you don't get to see the fish fighting quite as much. It's a real static looking shot. So I've started going with the GoPro on the chest shot, and I've already seen like some really like I'm totally sold kind of results. And Grant, that hat thing, that's going to do it, man. In my opinion, that's like points for me. I gotta thank John. It was his affiliate link through Amazon that I used to buy it. So you see, guys,
I gotta thank you for doing
that. Use John's affiliate links. whichever where there he is right there. That John right there. Use his affiliate links and you get special things like that hat.
Or you can do like his affiliate links over there too. There's all kinds of affiliate links everywhere.
I bet we don't have any of the description of this video though, do we?
No, we don't.
No Amazon links. But there is Brad's, the Wildgame Pursuit, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram in the description, along with John and Stanley's. If you guys don't know anybody, we got a few new people in the chat. I see Freezer Bound Outdoors, Mountain Bushcrafters Alliance, Mark J. Larson, Shanae. Good to see you guys and gals.
Everybody.
Danny Baker.
Yeah, Danny hit on it. There's some things you can do in editing, like panning and zooming and stuff, to help you get that different view, right? You can have the camera. Also, it looks like the camera's moving. You can put motion through editing. So if you got that video and you're like, man, it's too much of one thing, but I don't have any other angles for that particular time, you can do that kind of stuff in editing. It really helps a lot too.
Just I'll say on that too. When we first started, I was handing the camera to Rachel, to my wife, and we had conversations. I was like, "This is too shaky. This is the footage is you can't watch this, especially if it's on the TV. It's too all over the place." And so I encouraged. I taught her like the two-handed holding the phone kind of a thing. We had to do the horizontal, kind of conversation, and then I did a couple of videos where it was all tripod, and man, that was way too static. Like I went overboard. And now if I'm filming, I make sure that one of the bases that gets covered, one of the check boxes that gets marked is that I have, I need those static shots, but I also need a little bit of movement in the shot. I need there to be some kind of action going on. Otherwise it gets kind of dull.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
So what's next on the list, Brad? What's up? What's upcoming for you hunting wise?
I'm hoping to try to maybe get back down to Ohio or Kentucky and fill those tags. They're roughly, I think, $250 a piece for non-resident tags, and they're both sitting in my wallet still. So I'd like to maybe get a long weekend or something. I was hoping to maybe do it this weekend, but with Thanksgiving and my brother being home, I stayed home in Michigan. So maybe get a long weekend and get back down there and just try to fill a tag. I actually did that last year with my Ohio buck. That's how I filled that tag. Last year, though, I got laid off from work right after Thanksgiving, so I got to go down there for gun season and fill the tag. So this year, I'm not laid off, so maybe just get a long weekend or run down. Where I hunt in Ohio is about 6 hours south. So
2 questions for you. First one, give the folks a feeling for why your last video was 5 months ago, all of your group.
Yeah.
So what's kind of happened in that time that's maybe caused that?
In the last 5 months, you got hunting season. So everybody on our team right now has been running around. I actually just had a team member today. He just headed down to Kansas. He'll be hunting in Kansas for the week, and they always do really good down there. And we've had, like I say, we've had team members go out to South Dakota hunting, Nebraska hunting. I went to Kentucky. We're going to go to Missouri possibly. It's just been, and then hunting in Michigan too, busy hunting our home state. So we've had all that going on. We all work for a living, obviously. So that's busy. I was on 412s, which was nice for hunting, have a 3-day weekend. But like I say, you work 12-hour days during the week. There were so many days I had my laptop with me in the camper after work where I stay, and I'd plan on doing a little editing, and I'd get done with that 12-hour day, and I'd get back to the camper and take a shower and just eat and want to go to bed. So definitely have a bunch of footage. We're ready to edit, though. Have it all on my laptop. I'm getting it from the guys that don't edit, and the guys that do edit, I've been talking with them, and they're getting a bunch of videos. So we're about to dump a bunch of videos coming up, and it's going to be really cool. And plus, I had my daughter was born 2 months ago. So
Congrats.
Congratulations, man. Cheers.
Daughters are awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Remington Grace. So she's 2 months old now, and she's going to be a future hunter one day with us and be out there, and that'll be awesome.
And this is your first?
This is my second. I have a 2-year-old son. So.
Oh, nice. All right. Very cool. So the second question was, what do you do?
I'm a
Make
apprentice
money to
lineman.
do all this stuff, huh?
I'm a apprentice lineman right now. So
Okay.
in the lineman trade. So working on power lines. I'm about to be a 3rd step apprentice. So I got like 2 more years in my apprenticeship, and then I'll top out and become a lineman, and that'll be nice because then at that point I'll be able to kind of pick and choose my schedule and where I want to work, or switch jobs, kind of, how the union works. So that'll be nice for hunting too, because I at that point I'll kind of be able to take a little more hunting season off and get out and do a little more, even more hunting. So
Nice.
as much as I already do, they kind of frown upon apprentices taking too much time off of work. So
yeah, I can understand that.
yeah.
Them old guys, man, they're horrible.
But nope, it's a really good trade, and it pays good. It's a dangerous job, obviously, and that's why it pays good. But it definitely helps me be able to go and do stuff that I love, and that's go on hunting trips and fishing trips and do stuff like that. So
Good deal.
No
All
doubt.
right, guys.
So what's your dream hunt?
Oh,
Good
that's
question.
got to be. I actually just started applying for some elk tags, putting in preference points for elk. So obviously the dream hunt would be it'd be like a archery elk hunt, or like a moose hunt out in Alaska, stuff like that. Moose or caribou, is right up there. They're both, all 3 of them. Any of those big game hunts like that would just be awesome, especially like a backpack in and camp and do stuff like that would definitely be a hunt that I have at the top of my list for. Hopefully, like I say, I just started. I applied. I put in a preference point for Arizona elk this year and a preference point for Colorado elk. So I'm going to start building up some points in some. Actually, not Arizona. Sorry, New Mexico elk. So
Stomping grounds.
put in some points for those states that you can get because some, like Colorado, you can apply and get like an over-the-counter tag, but they're you got your more of a trophy unit and better units to hunt that you do have to put in points for. So I'm going to start building up some points for those. So
Yeah, weren't we talking about how that, I think Texas allows it. We had that conversation a couple of weeks ago. And you can get out-of-state tags for stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that $250 for the out-of-state non-resident for Kentucky and Ohio, I think they're like closer to $500 for non-resident in Illinois.
yeah, I was going to say they're actually one of the cheaper states.
There is a ton of public land around me if you ever want to come to Southern Illinois.
Oh, that'd be a blast. We've had a couple team, like I say, I love hunting public land, but a couple of the guys have been talking about possibly going in on a lease, in like Ohio or Illinois and stuff. And that's a hard debate. It's, do you spend, $1,000, $1,500 each for a lease, or do you go and try your luck on public land? So we've been really debating that. But yeah, I'd love to come down to Illinois. There's some big bucks I see shot down there. So
And we got a lot of people in the chat, like Danny Baker. He's saying that's where he started as an apprentice. Now he's a master. Mark J. Larson, he just got back from Wyoming and got him a elk. I know Mountain Bushcrafters Alliance was in here a minute ago. He's in Eastern Kentucky. Freezer Bound Outdoors says there's a ton of public land around him in Pennsylvania. And Aaron Caveman says, Brad, have you bought a pair of pit vipers yet?
That's Aaron. That's actually our hunt giveaway winner.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Yep, that's the one who got his first. That's the one who got his first turkey with us this spring. So that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'd planned in Pennsylvania too.
Brad, how do you plan? I mean, I planning a hunt is work, right? And a lot of times you're going and checking the area. How do you plan an out-of-state public land hunt?
One of the biggest things that I use is Onyx maps. Onyx is a savior for me. I'm not sponsored by them or nothing, but
You should be.
I will definitely. Their maps, is huge for somebody to go in, and I can see the public and try to look at the topographical map. And usually anywhere before I go up into somewhere new, I'll go on and just look at the map and try to just put some points that as soon as I get there, I want to go check those spots out and figure out something that looks good to me. Sometimes I go in and it's exactly what I thought it'd look like. Other times I get there and I'm like, whoa, there ain't no deer sign here. And I back right out and go check the next one. But
now, do you get down there in advance to check it out? Or is it, hey, this is the week I'm there, day one, I'm there?
Usually it's kind of, it's tough to just go out of state. So usually it's once I get there, I do a lot of scouting on the go. So especially depending on the weather, sometimes I'll get there and depending on the weather, there might be some days I'll say, hey, I'm going to give up a day of hunting, but I'm going to scout. And hopefully that scouting pays off later in the week. So that's definitely one of the toughest things. And then you just got, sometimes you can find some locals that will give you a little advice, and point you in a few directions. Sometimes they might put you in the wrong direction on purpose, but you never know.
Plan.
Yeah.
Never trust Stanley if he tries to give you a fishing spot. Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'll take you to a good fishing spot. But if you ask me where to go, I'm sorry, that's not happening.
Bait the hook. Good to see you, Tim.
I'm curious. So I have it's possible, and in Texas, this is an amazing endeavor. I'm super proud of this. It's possible I may be able to get to do a little bit of hunting this winter in the next couple of weeks here. And now that this opportunity has presented itself, I have no idea how I'm going to film it. What are the biggest problems you have filming hunting, and what can I do to get around that? What are the things that I need to know to film a good hunting video?
I guess a lot of it depends on what you're hunting, and would it be like in a ground blind, or would you have a tripod, or it kind of depends. I guess there's what exactly would you be hunting, deer or boar? Or?
I'm going to be going after. I've got a hog trip coming up, and I've got a whitetail trip coming up. The hog trip, I have no idea. I don't know what is going on with that, but I've done hog trips before where I'm just walking around.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot you can do about that. That's just difficult. Then there's nothing you can do about it. The deer trip will probably be in a blind, but I'm not sure, but I assume it's a blind.
Okay. A lot of it is you need to have the shot on camera. Any hunting thing. I mean, some people were telling me that, like how I told you guys earlier in the show, that it needs, it cost me $1 on Thanksgiving because I was trying to get the buck on camera before I could have just pulled the trigger. He was 100 yards out and I had my gun with me, and but one of the main things is having that shot on camera. So you got to have something that you can at least zoom in and see the deer good, and hopefully get some footage of that. And then obviously sometimes I'll hook my clamp GoPro on the front of the gun, have it pointing back at me if I'm just holding the gun, or anything to have a shot showing you, and then your main camera at least showing the animal you're shooting at, to have that clear and good vision to see it.
Do you use the the Tacticam or any of those, like the scope mounted cameras or anything?
I have a Tacticam, and I honestly prefer the GoPros. It's just my opinion, but I bought a Tacticam and I thought it was going to really help me with footage and stuff. But to me, it's because I bought a stabilizer mount for my bow that screws right into my bow, and then the camera goes right into it and it points out at what I'm shooting at. So I tried that to start off, and with bow hunting, with that stabilizer mount, you draw back and you shoot, and naturally your bow goes forward in your hand. So, and as you shoot too, there's the vibration of the shot with the string going off. So it's good if you just want to get some footage to come back and show your friends. But personally, I think for YouTube videos that there's way too much vibration, and as soon as you shoot, you don't see nothing, and then you're not naturally going to try to keep your bow or gun pointed towards the deer as it runs off. So after that, it usually just shows the ground.
Yep.
So, whereas a GoPro is more of that wide angle, so usually I'll just have it showing and it just shows the whole scene, and it doesn't, I don't know. That's just me personally, but
No, that's a good point.
I love GoPros. So
have any audio on your cameras turned off as far as if they make a ding when you turn them on or have all that stuff turned off? You don't want to, oh, there's the buck, hit the camera and it goes ding or something.
Beep, beep, beep. It turns on. Beep,
yep.
beep, beep.
Exactly.
So, definitely that. And then make sure to, if you have a camera too that has an external mic that doesn't turn on with the camera, that you actually turn the mic on, because I've had two of our guys now. My brother shot a turkey this spring, and it was some sweet footage. The turkey's right in front of camera. He's gobbling his head off, head's red, strutting, bam, he shoots it. Sweet video, and he's all excited, brings the turkey over to my house. We come in, plug the camera into my TV to watch it, and no audio.
There's two things you can do about that. I have wind noise down here, so I'm a pro at bad audio. There's two things you can do about it. For one, you can do the montage, where it's like you just, no audio, and you throw some music to that and some cuts like that. The other thing you can do, especially if it's like your brother's fault, there's no audio, you get back to the house and you're like, okay, we're going to record the audio now. And you have to reenact everything.
Yep. There was that. And some of the Ohio footage we just got back, I messed with the guys too, because they shot those bucks, and they did the whole post-hunt interview, and there's no audio to that either. So they're sitting there talking with the buck in front of the camera and nothing. I'm like, but that's part of it. You're gonna have stuff like that happen. So you just come up with a different plan to play it into your video. So
yeah, the worst thing is when something. That last time we were at the coast, I had camera. Also, one camera just stopped recording audio. The other one was making this funky noise, and two different GoPros. And I think, well, these cameras are shot now, and then the next day they're both working fine. That's the nature of the beast with the GoPro. But the one I shot almost all day with and didn't know it wasn't recording anything. The audio just didn't work. But again, the next day it worked fine. So
with the 360 camera, what I do nowadays is I have this camera running and the 360 now chest mounted, and I have them both running at the same time. So I'll use the audio from this camera. It's a phone, so it's got decent, audio on it. Plus I might run a mic through it. But
I get to do that some.
Yeah, that does help with the audio stuff. But again, with like the wind noise, that screws me on so much content that I do down here. And one thing I did in a recent video that worked like super, super well. Yeah, even those things, South Texas is like those dead rabbits have like nothing on South Texas. Right? Need to have one though. But I in one video, my audio got shot to where like I had some audio, but it wasn't good for what I was doing. So I actually pulled some sound effects from Epidemic and plugged it in to where they needed to be. And I did it kind of jokingly, but at the same time, it's like the video was kind of falling flat. And so I just plugged them in where they needed to be, just some little sound effect stuff that not one person has ever noticed that I had it in there. And that is now like it's a channel driver video. It's probably going to be the best video on my channel here in about a year. In a year, it's going to be like a total channel driver. But I don't know if it's like the sound effects that did that, but man, looking back on that video after, it's been a little while since I posted it, and having forgotten that I implemented that audio, but then remembering it, I can look back from that and I'm like, man, like it's just such a much better video with those tiny little elements in it. Audio makes a huge difference, even little touches.
Right. It does.
Danny Baker says that hunting is more complicated to film than fishing. What do you think about that? You've got some fishing videos too. You guys do some fishing. What do you think?
I agree. I definitely so much with fishing, you can just run the GoPros, and you know, because nothing's super far away. Usually, you can just get some cool shots of a lot of different things. Whereas hunting too, hunting's really tough because there's so many. You got to have your main camera going, and then also there's some days too where honestly you get in the tree and, you know, every time you get in the tree, you got to like do that pre-interview, you know, all right, at such and such date, you know, I'm out here, and you won't even see a deer that night. And that's just, so sometimes you get out there and you want to skip that part because, you know, you've said it over and over for the last week and you haven't even done anything with the footage because nothing's happened. So there's that aspect to it. But yeah, I think a lot of it's just being able to use the little secondary cameras for fishing is a lot easier because everything's so close. You're either in the boat or you're ice fishing and you're sitting there on the ice and you're just set up the camera right here, just looking at your whole ice fishing. And it's just with hunting too, you got to deal with brush too. That's a big thing. So like with my cameras, that's the biggest thing too for that little my little Bear Zoom right on my camera is on the mount. I'm sitting there, I can set it to manual focus. So like if that buck's standing back in the brush or a deer's walking through brush and it's focused on the trees in front of it, I can change the focus and get it to focus on the deer walking.
This is something you attach to your camera?
It attaches onto my arm on my mount, you know, to sit there, and then it attaches into the camera. And only certain, you know, more of the expensive cameras use it. Some of the cheaper cameras you can't have a Bear Zoom and do it remote. But this, I can, I got the toggle right on it where I can zoom in, zoom out slowly. You know, it does that nice little pan in, pan out. And then also I can do that same thing with the focus. I can focus in, focus out with it. And it's so much nicer too, because especially for self-filming, I don't have to do near as much movement. Whereas if I didn't have it, I'd have to reach up onto the camera and toggle it. With this, I can turn the camera and be panning in and out at the same time on the arm. So
that's nice.
That's huge. Another aspect too for filming deer hunting is a lot of it too is I've noticed is honestly a lot of my hunting spots I have to plan for filming too. So it isn't just, hey, that's a good tree for me to sit in. I'm just going out here to shoot a deer. But a lot of it too, I have to look at my spot and try to find a good spot to film that will work for me to get my camera arm in the tree and be able to film. And also I usually have been trying to find spots without near as much brush that I know that I can get the camera on the deer and get a shot off too. So
all good stuff.
I enjoy that aspect of it, but you're right there. That it creates an entirely new level of challenge for anything that you do when you have to focus on your shot plus the shot of the camera. It's like focusing on two guns.
It is.
Plus maybe a little buck fever now and then. That makes it even
plus
harder.
I mean it's tough. It's so tough because it's tough enough to go out and shoot a big buck without a camera, you know, like, and then try to do it with a camera at the same time. It throws a whole new wrench into it. So that's why preferably, like I say, if I can get a guy to team member to come film, you know, and we can take turns, that's what we usually try to do. But a lot of the time though, it just works out where, hey, I can't get nobody or they're hunting a different spot and you end up self-filming. And it definitely is a challenge. Like I say, it'll cost you dear, trust me, Thanksgiving.
Ouch.
Cost me a nice buck. But
ouch. Hate to hear that.
it was cool to see him though. It was just excited to see a good buck though this year. So
yeah, you got close to pulling off something special with that too. You know, it cost you a buck, but how cool would that have been if you would have got him and on camera? Yeah, you know, it's like a double win.
That's the way I look at it, and I've talked to a lot of people about like what we do and stuff, and I've told them, I said, if you know, I've been trying to push and get our numbers up. Obviously, I got to get more videos out, and that's the toughest thing. I'd like to get some backed up, you know, some videos ready, and then be able to kind of space them out a little bit.
Yep.
And I know that's a huge part of YouTube's algorithm is getting a video out on a regular basis. But yeah, I've been trying to push and try to get, our subscribers up, because that's the toughest thing too, is, you put in so much work into your videos and editing and all the money and stuff that goes into it. And then you'll look at your video and it's like, oh, we got, 300 views on that video, and it's, as YouTube creators, it kind of bums you out. It's like, man, I thought that was a really good video. I wanted more people to view that video. And I know you guys all know too, how like Facebook is, you try to share a YouTube link on Facebook and they immediately knock it right down. Like nobody even barely sees that video on Facebook. So
yeah,
it's tough to get your videos out there. And I know a lot of it is just hitting that 1,000 subscribers. So I think right now we're coming up on 600. So
good. Good. Keep pushing.
yep.
Yeah,
Remember, folks, his link is down below.
and that growth, it happens like it's weird spurts.
Yeah.
It's not just like linear.
No.
You'll go from like 600 to like 999, and then you're gonna drop down to 750. But then you'll hit like 1,001 for like an hour, and it's gonna go down to like 980.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's I noticed something. Okay, so Stanley's tube buddy. He's the dude for, you need to talk to Stanley.
Yep.
I mean, I don't want to get into too much take away from this, but tags and all that,
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah, I
talk
know.
to Stanley about
We
that.
talked about
Information
that,
in
yeah.
your about tab,
Yep.
other than an email address.
Yep. I need to definitely get on a lot of that, because heck, I just last night before I sent Grant the link, I hadn't even got my custom URL yet, so I went and made the, where it says YouTube hashtag the Wildgame Pursuit. I just got that done last night before I sent it to him. So,
Cool.
And that at least looks better too. So
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Makes a difference.
now, do you guys? I know you got social medias. Do you have a website yet? Or are you guys looking at that? Or are you just sticking with the social media and YouTube channel for now?
yep, it's mainly just their Facebook page right now, and then we have had quite a few people. I got a lot of hats. The one here, I got the leather patch hats that we sell and stuff. Those are $25, and I have sweatshirts and t-shirts and stuff, and truck decals, and we do a lot of stuff like that. So it's pretty cool there when you'll have people reach out to you that just like your group and stuff and buy stuff from you that they're out states, different states around the country. That's awesome. Watching
Wearing your
people.
stuff. It's cool.
Yep. And then I tell everybody, I said, if anybody, buys our stuff and wears our stuff, you send me a picture with wearing our gear with a harvest or a fish or anything, we'll always post it to our story, on Facebook and stuff. And let other people see it. So
Very cool.
it's definitely a lot of work, but a lot of fun, and that was the other part I was starting to get to, was I told people, I said, if this doesn't go anywhere, it's, I mean, I'm going to keep pushing it, but if, let's say, it doesn't go anywhere, I still just love the fact that there's so many things that I take back and I'll like go back and show my grandma, and stuff like that, and be able to show it to them in person. You can tell the story, but until you actually like watching footage back on camera, because I've told people too, I said, there's always, you're sitting around a campfire and you're hanging out 10 years down the road and you're sitting there telling hunting stories. You can always remember so many parts of it, but you go back and watch the video and even you forget the little parts that you filmed, and to be able to watch it and relive it all back is so much to me that I love that aspect of it.
Yeah.
So.
And the little ones,
you got a new daughter.
show them.
This is all stuff that she's going to be watching in the future, and it can be like YouTube can be a total bust failure, and you will still always have that for her. There's a lot of value in it.
Yep. All the new stuff, your first times, your personal best, to have all that on video, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, a picture is priceless, but what's that?
You get to the ability to rub that in with the guy at work.
Oh,
There you go.
Invaluable.
No, you
know?
didn't catch. Oh yeah, looky here.
Yeah, I did.
Well, that happens. I mean, Grant would know that too. He hunts a lot. It's, how many things too happen out in the woods that, let's say you didn't shoot the deer or get it on, then you have no proof really. So
Right.
yeah, so many things with hunting. If you have a camera running, you're like, hey, I saw this, or I saw this buck, or something crazy happened out in the woods. Yeah, here's the proof. Here's the video of it. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Right.
Sometimes don't even tell people about stuff you see out there just because they're
Yeah, they're just gonna say no.
you know,
Yeah,
they
they're gonna be like, I saw a 10 point. They're like, oh, I saw a 6 point.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't
Right.
even know how to count to 10.
That's right. Bait the hook. Just have fun and enjoy what you do.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
One of the greatest moments, Mark Larson, you're exactly right about that. One of the single, if not the single greatest moment of any video that I ever filmed, when we first started, Rachel and I were in Cozumel, and we're like, we're going to film this. We're going to have fun with it. We're going to do it like, they do on TV, and we're going to see about this YouTube thing. And so we didn't know what we were doing, but we were filming vlog style, wandering around in Cozumel. And so I had the camera, and I was, the phone, not camera, but phone. And I was talking to the camera, and her and I were having a little exchange and talking about whatever it was we were doing. I don't even know what that was, but what I do remember is that when I went back and looked at that footage, I saw the look on my wife's face when I was filming, and I saw the way she looked at me. And I see the way she looks at me when I'm looking at her, when it's eye to eye, when we're having a conversation, there's a lot of venom, there's a lot of angriness and stuff like that. But the way that she looked at me when I wasn't looking at her, when I was looking at the phone, when I went to edit that footage, and the way that she was looking at me when she did, there was like real love. It had nothing to do with the camera. It had nothing to do with filming or anything like that. We were in Mexico. We were super, super happy at that particular moment, and I caught that on camera. And the look in her eyes is the single greatest moment of anything. Seeing that's what sparked the channel right there. It was just that one moment, like, I don't know, catching that on camera and being able to experience that, which I otherwise would not have been able to if I hadn't had the camera on.
True.
Right.
Very cool. Getting low on time there.
Yeah, we're getting close. This hour went by very fast. Good to see you, Becca. How are you, Becca Mud Tramp?
This Mud Tramp. There's a name for you.
Yeah. So what we got going on coming up? Anybody?
What do we have going on? Anybody got spoilers?
Waterfowl's in now. I doubt I'll be doing any more deer hunting. I got my buck last year. I'm not in that big of a hurry. Duck season is all I'm out. What about you, John?
I've got trout on my mind. So a buddy of mine gonna take me out. We're gonna try to do some trout fishing. That's only a couple weeks out though. So other than that, this coming Friday is gonna be more boat stuff. Get some more installs done and get some more things done. Get that thing, getting it ready to sell it. So I want it right though before I do. So
I'm going to talk to you about that, but I'm waiting for you to get desperate on the price. I keep stealing newspapers and kicking them under the garbage can.
Stanley, what you got coming up?
A possible fishing trip for the next couple of days. We'll see what's going on with that. I got skunked in Canyon Lake. So I'm kind of bummed about that. I'm kind of reeling. However, I may be going back to Canyon Lake courtesy of Airbnb, actually. We'll see how that turns out. And then I'm going to be enjoying the rest of my vacation before we put together our end of 2021 video and, kickstart our 2022 series.
Cool. Brad, what you got coming up? Anything?
Just the usual, more hunting, trying to fill some tags, and then some editing. Like I say, pushing out some of these videos that we have. That'll be taking up quite a bit of time now. The season's starting to wind down a little bit. We are getting a little snow here in Michigan. We've had snow, I guess, for a couple days now. So if we get a little more snow, that should get the deer moving a little better. We got only 2 inches of snow on the ground right now, but get a little more on the ground. That'll get the deer moving out, looking for food a little more. So
You can keep that up there in Michigan too.
Yes, please.
Hey, we're starting to get some lakes with some. I see a lot of lakes
That's
are
a
covered
bad
in
word. Don't say it.
ice.
Don't say freeze.
We don't do that down here.
Yeah, I love some ice fishing. I got a spear and shanty, and I like to go put that out and go sit in there and go for some big pike and
That'd be
stuff.
cool.
So
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Grant?
I'm going duck hunting Wednesday. I might go live from the duck blind.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
Do it.
Thank you so much for joining us, Brad. Next week, we're going to be over at Stanley Orchard's channel. If you don't have him, if you don't have John, if you don't have Brad, links are in the description. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much for making it to the end. Hit that thumbs up. Till next week, thank you, everybody. Have a great week.
Have a wonderful week, guys. Happy holidays.
Peace out.
Yes.